You know, only two artists in chart history who failed to hit number one while they lived had number one records after they died. One of them was Janis Joplin, who did it with Me and Bobby McGee. And the other was a soul singer of the 60s. And his big song, a pop classic, is coming up as an AT40 extra.
Casey's Coast to Coast, American Top 40.
Well, now on AT40, it's time for the extra. A song that hit number one several months after the man who sang it was killed in a plane crash. He's one of only two artists in chart history who failed to hit number one when they were alive, but who did hit after they died. The other was Janis Joplin, who hit number one with Me and Bobby McGee just 5 months after her death in October of 1970. Before that, Janis had been on the singles chart only a couple of times. But this other artist, whose only number one came after his death, had run up 17 chart hits, including 5 in the top 40, in a span of 4 short years. But he never made number one, or even the top 10, until a few months after he died in 1967. This is the song that keeps alive the memory of Otis Redding.
Sitting in the morning sun,
an AT40 extra, a former number one song by Otis Redding.
American Top 40.
Well, right now we're up to the current hit song that marks a very special chart comeback for a soul group from Memphis. You know, it was nearly 9 years ago this week that the group was nearly wiped out in the same tragic plane crash that took the life of Otis Redding. The group is the Bar-Kays, and we got the story from the original and the current leader, James Alexander. He says there were 6 members in the group originally, and they traveled with Otis on concert tours and club dates as his backup band. Now, the plane that they traveled in was a small jet owned by Otis. And on December 10th, 1967, on a flight from Cleveland to Madison, Wisconsin, there were 10 people on board. Otis Redding, 3 road managers, the pilot of the plane, and 5 members of the Bar-Kays. James Alexander tells us that he and the other guys in the group used to take turns staying behind after a performance to handle the equipment and return the rented cars. It was his turn on that foggy December afternoon. And an hour and a half after that tiny plane took off, it went down in Lake Monona in Wisconsin. There was just one survivor in the crash, Bar-Kay member Ben Curley, who miraculously suffered only a few minor cuts on his forehead. Well, James Alexander says about 3 months after the tragedy, their record company asked if he wanted to put together another group using the same name. And he decided, after thinking it over, that another group might be the best way to carry on the spirit of the friends that he'd lost. Ben Curley decided against joining the new group, and so James got 7 new musicians together. And currently, they have their first hit on the pop chart in 9 years. Here are the Bar-Kays and Shake Your Rump to the Funk. The Bar-Kays on American Top 40 at number 32, second week on the chart. They move up with Shake Your Rump to the Funk. We have 31 hits to number one, and we're counting them down.
The hits from coast to coast.